Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another delightful episode of Morning Constitution. I'm your host, Joel Hawksley, and today we're diving headfirst into the eighth week of our exhilarating journey through the fascinating world of the constitutional rights. But before we explore the depths of the Eighth Amendment, let's take a quick trip down memory lane and recap the incredible topics we've delivered thus far. In week one, we embarked on an adventure by unraveling the mysteries of the First Amendment. We celebrated freedom of speech, religion, and press like true champions of liberty. In week two, took us on a wild ride through the Second Amendment, exploring the historical and contemporary perspective on the right to bear arms. Moving on to week three, we explored the contours of the Third Amendment, which protects us from having soldiers crash on our couches without permission. No room service for military. So the fourth week got us pondering the complexities of the Fourth Amendment, where we discovered the importance of privacy and protection against unreasonable search and seizure. I would tell you right now we should walk our order. So week five was all about the Fifth Amendment, where we learned the right against self-incrimination, the concept of due process. Now, I think we had a really in-depth conversation on that one. So no one puts our constitutional rights in a corner. Let's put them away. And in week six, we unraveled the Sixth Amendment, championing the right to a speedy trial, fair trial. The courtroom drama having nothing on us. So last week, my God, I can't believe it was last week when I had charter on. Then had us celebrating the Seventh Amendment, which grants us the right to a jury trial in a civil case. And we can all be judged in justice. Whew. Wow. What a roller coaster ride. But fear not, my fellow adventurers, because today we buckle up for the Eighth Amendment and introduce the concept of cruel and unusual punishment. Are you ready to explore the boundaries of justice with me? Yeah, come across really interesting. Being prepared is a whole lot different than just kind of winging. So, again, good morning. And we're coming to you live from the fantastic Oxford Sports Club and Secret Society, the ultimate gathering spot for lively discussion and intellectual banter. A huge thank you to the Oxford for hosting us every Thursday, where we combine the love of sports, because David and I off camera talk sports, the camaraderie and the exploration of our Constitution. Ooh, it's hot, even though the air conditioner works. Yeah, it's warm. Okay, so let's see, where do I want to go? So I've introduced the Oxford, I've done that. So now my fellow pub goers, right? Nobody's in the pub, we know that, it's at court. So let's take a moment to acknowledge the gravity of this subject. The Eighth Amendment. It's no laughing matter, as it safeguards you and I against cruel and unusual punishment. It stands as a testament to the values we place on human dignity and fairness with our justice system. So, my friends, let's approach this discussion with respect that it deserves. Together, we'll navigate through the complexities of the implications of the Eighth Amendment, exploring its historical context and modern interpretation. So what I try to do each and every week But fear not, like my show before. We'll be sure to infuse a little bit of a dash of humor and wit, maybe. If you like dad jokes. So, with all that, the Eighth Amendment to the United States Constitution, it was adopted as part of the Bill of Rights in 1791. Now it reads, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. So the origin of the Eighth Amendment, it can be traced back to the experiences of the American colonists. So under British rule, the founding fathers they draw their inspiration from the English common law. I think we covered that earlier. And so much enlightenment philosophy. So if you don't know, if you don't know anything about the Roman Empire, and, Aristotle, and all these different people, then you won't understand where they were getting that from. So, now, so the concept of the prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment can be found in the British legal tradition. So, where it was seen as a safeguard against the abuse of power of the government, and the idea was to prevent the imposition of punishment. So that we deem disproportionately inhumane. So now I just got tongue-tied myself. What's going on? So, Eighth Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights. Founding fathers put it in there, saying, government sanctioned. It's to protect individuals from government-sanctioned acts of cruelty. So, excessive punishment. Why would we protect you and I? Why did they protect you and I from cruel and unusual punishment? And if you're a young person and you've lived through that time period, where the war on terror started, you're gonna understand a lot about what they were trying to prevent and what actually happened. So, our founding fathers, they were also concerned about the potential for abuse of power, in the criminal justice system. So they sought to limit the government's ability to impose excessive fines, bail, ensure that individuals were not unjustly burdened or deprived of property rights. Now, see, this is always up for debate. So it's kind of there where I think excessive means, it's like, what crime did they do? It's not, hey, how much did they make? It's, what crime did they do? What should the penalty be? What's the likelihood of them coming back to court? So that's kind of where it is. So, let's say now, over the years, the Supreme Court has played a vital role in interpreting that for us. Through landmark decisions cases, the court has shaped into an understanding of what the Constitution constitutes cruel and unusual punishment and excessive fines, adapting contemporary social norms and values. I want to get into, I got a more comments, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything, but I want this to be a good episode. The Eighth Amendment stands as a testament to the Founding Fathers' commitment to protecting our rights and our dignity. It ensures the government power limit and the temper by principles and theories. The Eighth Amendment, let's read it again. Excessive bail not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. It's that simple. The prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment, the first key protection provided by the Eighth Amendment, is the prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. This means that the government is prohibited from imposing punishment that are considered excessive, harsh, barbaric, or disproportionately to the crime. The term cruel and unusual has evolved over time and is a subject of interpretation by the courts. We all know. It aims to prevent the government from subjecting individuals to torture, degrading treatment, or punishment that shocks the conscience of society. So let's think about that. This protection encompasses various aspects of the criminal justice system, including methods of execution, the duration and the conditions of imprisonment, the treatment of a prisoner. So, it serves as a safeguard to ensure that individuals are treated with dignity and respect, even when facing punishment for their actions. It's beautiful. When you think our government is held to a standard, it prohibits fines, excessive fines and bail. Some of you guys are going, well, there are some people that are poor, they're stuck in jail because they just can't afford to get out. There are bail bondsmen, there are all kinds of people out there, but excessive, it talks about excessive. So excessive, right, that's what it says, excessive fines, or mandatory penalties that, it's a demand. How do I put this? I don't really feel how to put this. So, excessive fines, refer to monetary penalties that are deemed out of proportion to the severity of the offense committed. The purpose of the protection is to prevent the government from using fines as a means of imposing financial hardship or unfairly seizing your property. Additionally, the prohibition of excessive bail ensures that individuals are not unjustly held in pretrial detention due to exorbitant bail. You have Democrats want to get rid of bail altogether. Bail should be set at a reasonable level. It should always be set at a reasonable level. But it has to balance the presumption of innocence. It has to avoid unnecessary deprivation of liberty. By including these provisions, the Eighth Amendment placed limits on the power of government in terms of imposing punishment, fines, bail. It serves as a vital protection of your individual rights, promoting fairness, proportionately, and prevent the cruel treatment in the criminal justice system. So you're not going to go to jail. And you're not supposed to go to jail. You're not supposed to get beaten while you're in there. That's why cameras are everywhere. But let's take a look at the judicial interpretation. So the courts have played a significant role in defining the scope of the application of these protections, adapting them to the evolving standards of decency in our societal norms. So you think if we all went ugly, the courts would have gone ugly? You think that the government gets stronger and more power? Didn't it do anything other than crush the middleman? So let's look at recent let's look at recent Supreme Court cases. You know that just played a pivotal role in shaping and understanding and application of the Eighth Amendment. There are two notable cases that have dealt with the Eighth Amendment. There was Miller versus Alabama and Roper versus Simmons. That's right, Simmons. Simmons. You know, you guys that have that name will be able to help you out. But Miller versus Alabama is 2012 and addresses the issue of life sentences without parole for juvenile offenders. Wow. A juvenile put in jail for life? That's wow. So what did the courts do? The court held that mandatory life sentences without the possibility of parole for individuals who commit the crime as a juvenile violated the Eighth Amendment, prohibiting the cruel and unusual punishment. You know, the decision recognized that juveniles have a unique characteristic and should be given the opportunity for rehabilitation and the potential for release. You know, taking into account their age, capacity capacity for change. So how will they be able to adapt? You know, and the circumstances surrounding their offense. Because they're absolutely not adults. So I applaud this decision. I think that juvenile justice has been really taken to a different level, where we keep raising the age for everything from alcohol to buying a gun, but the government always seems to be lowering the age for these harsh sentences for juveniles. Hey, he's 13 years old and we're going to try him as an adult. How many times have you heard that? As a teenager, you're going to absolutely raise it to an adult sentence. That's racist. But Miller versus Alabama actually addressed that situation. They did it in a good way. Now, there's Roper versus Simmons or Simons. I can never get it right. It's 2005. I believe it was like 2005. Now, it focused on the constitutionality of the death penalty for offenders who committed their crime as a minor. Again, we're talking about juveniles. So the court ruled that it is unconstitutional to impose the death penalty on an individual who were under the age of 18 at the time of their crime. So no death penalty if you're under 18. That's what the court said. And so the decision held that the execution of minors just violated the Eighth Amendment, period. It prohibits the cruel and unusual punishment. So that means this kid has never lived his life. He's already committed a crime. But to kill him? I mean, you can't give him a life sentence. You can't give him a life sentence. That came after this decision. But you can't give him a life. You can't execute him. And then they came out, and I probably did that back then. Maybe I should have done the 2005 decision first, but man, just think about it. The Supreme Court is actually, these decisions, I think, are critical because I think justice is justice, this punishment is It's just nobody should fear for their life when they're under 18 years old because they don't. That's it. That's just not a good game of government. Put it that way. So let's look at, I have a couple of things there. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So let's talk about the concept of excessive violence in the relationship with the Eighth Amendment. So the Eighth Amendment, it prohibits the imposition of excessive fines, meaning that the government cannot impose financial penalties that are unreasonably high. So if you go in, so you get arrested for drunk driving. So drunk driving, they bring it down. It's $1 million to get out of jail. Not happening. The common person does not have $1 million. The common person that's going to commit this crime is not a millionaire, not a wealthy person. So the fines can be set, which leads with a little high on for the poor people. Fair. Really balanced. And you know what? I should have looked up. I should have called Sheriff Lehman and said, "Hey, give me a couple of instances of what the fines are." Or actually, I probably could have called Grant Malloy, our clerk of the courts. Yeah. So let me look at it. I remember looking at the Supreme Court decisions. I think one of the notable cases on excessive fines, I think that individual. Come on, Joel. We have all these notes. Oh. So, Austin versus the United States in 1993. So this one, the Supreme Court held that the government can seize property connected to a criminal activity, but emphasized that the forfeiture must be proportionate. I love that word, proportionate to the offense committed. The court recognized that the excessive forfeiture could violate the Eighth Amendment. So, hey, I'm going to take your house, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take all this stuff away from you, and it's not, and it doesn't fit the crime. Not happening because of Austin versus the United States. So, the role of bail in the criminal justice system, challenges. Bail serves as a mechanism in the criminal justice system to ensure that the defendant appears in court. That's the whole point. So the likelihood bail is given to somebody who shows a trust. There's okay, and let this person out. They're going to come. They're going to come here to court. We have those people that jump bail. I think it's like somebody's telling me like the bail bond takes like the government only wants a percentage of the money up front. I don't think they have to pay the whole fund. But hey, again, that's not something I've ever had to really worry about. Oh, let's see. I'm making a long out of nothing. So again, what are we talking about? We're just simply talking about the government should not, abuse its power. And the Eighth Amendment helps us ensure that they're not going to do so. So again, this is Morning Constitution. I'm excited that we have this opportunity to talk. Glad that I had better notes today. I'm glad that we had a good discussion about the government, punishment, and fines. So again, hit like, subscribe. Just subscribe and then see each episode of the Morning Constitution. Thank you very much.